and welcome to Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. Today on Chef Carter's Cooking Corner, I'm going to be making meatloaf. So Lily, no last name, she asked me to do meatloaf. So I'm doing this in honor of Lily. She's actually my subscriber that makes the most comments. You know, a lot of my subscribers do, and I appreciate you. But keep the comments coming. I love them. And I read each and every one. So, real quick, let me show you what I have in here. I have peppers and onions, garlic, and stewed tomatoes in here. And it's a half can of stewed tomatoes. And I know they're still sliced. I'm just going to squish them up with my hand here. It's about a quarter cup of chopped up peppers and a quarter cup of onions, and there was two very small cloves of garlic, which equal 1 clove of garlic, and that's what I have in here. I also, if you could see it, I also put the juice, some of the juice of the can of tomatoes, but I'm only using 1 pound, so if you use 2 pounds you would double that and use the whole can, which is what I normally do. Also in here, I would prefer Worcestershire sauce. I hope I said that right. But I have soy sauce, so I'm going to put a few shakes in there. And what they do, the soy sauce or the Worcestershire sauce, they add this flavor that the Japanese call umami. So, you know, our tongue, it senses various flavors such as sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and there's one more. But our tongue senses these different flavors. And then there's this one flavor, it's just that rich flavor that you get, like gravy gives you this flavor. And it's just that richness that comes with certain dishes that, you know, have been cooked for a long time. And so that's what the soy sauce does. Also in here, since I do have the soy sauce, I want to be careful not to add too much more salt. So I'm going to add just a few dashes of my seasoning salt, and then a big dash of my Italian seasoning. Alright, so along with that, I want to add an egg, and I'm going to add my oatmeal. So I'm going to add a cup of oatmeal to this. Most people will add breadcrumbs, but you can do oatmeal too. So 1 cup of oatmeal, and then we're going to add our 1 pound of hamburger. Alright, let me get rid of this. Okay, you don't have to use the glove, but I don't like touching raw hamburger for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in here and crush up these tomatoes. You could cut them up, but I don't know. I just like it when they're just kind of squished and crushed like this. I like big chunks of tomato. Okay. So now that I've cut, or not cut, but crushed them into smaller pieces, I'm going to go in and start mixing everything up. So I always do this under-over method. It seems to be the most efficient way to mix the meatloaf. Now, if the meatloaf does seem to be a little too wet, this one does. You can add more. If you use breadcrumbs, you can do breadcrumbs. Or in my case, I'm going to be adding more oatmeal. if it seems a little too wet. So the main reason, you know, people make meatloaf like this is the oatmeal or the breadcrumbs. Some people even put cornmeal in their meatloaf. I've never had that, but I've read it before. And what it does is it extends your meat. So let's say you only have enough meat to feed 4 people. So you add in the oatmeal or the breadcrumbs, and suddenly you have enough to feed, what I say, you only had enough to feed 4, and suddenly you have enough to feed 8. So you have doubled your meat. Alright. So, alright, this feels pretty good. I don't think I'm going to need to add any more. But you don't want it to be too dry. Alright. So sorry about the noise. We actually have the laundry room next to the kitchen. I started a load of laundry. So sorry about the noise. Alright. So, you know, back in the day, people would try their meatloaf like this. But I think I have a pretty good mix of seasoning, and there's enough salt, my flavorings in there. Alright, so now I'm going to put this in the pan. Alright. Alright then. Oop, had a little escapee, but I washed my surface first, so we can do that. So you want to shape it like you would a meatloaf, you know, and you don't want it to be too tall. And one thing I like to do is put a little divot in here. I don't know, I just started doing that. It just seems like it cooks better to me. You know, I don't know anyone else that does the divot, but I do. And then kind of push it close. So then you know, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 servings from this. Alright. So let me go ahead and remove this glove. Alright. So my meatloaf is going to go into a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes, and I'll check it for doneness. And then it usually takes 45 to 55 minutes for a meatloaf to cook. And it also depends on how big you make it as well. But this one right here is thin. It is, you know, it's not too thick or thin. It's going to be probably about 50 minutes. Alright, I'll see you then. Alright, so here's my meatloaf complete. So you want to let your meatloaf rest for a good 5 minutes before you start cutting into it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fix my plate. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fix my plate here. So, here's my meatloaf. How big a piece you want, Mom? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. You see your plate, Mom? Ooh, she made me fry some tomatoes. Here you go, Mom. All right, we also got some greens. How's that taste, Mom? All right, I'll get you a fork in a second. All right, so I got my plate fixed right here. Got my greens, my meatloaf, my fried red tomatoes tonight. Just can't find any green in the store. And a little piece of white bread, but this is the whole grain white. So a nice healthy meal, a little bit of soul food twist in there. So I want to thank you for joining me on Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for stopping by.